Hi students, today we will learn about Fry's rearrangement. This rearrangement is given by aryl esters of aliphatic or aromatic carboxylic acids. Here you can see R can be an alkyl group or an aryl group. Thus, the acyl residue of the substrate may be aromatic or aliphatic. Esters having chains up to 18 carbons long have been successfully rearranged. The relative rates of rearrangement of acyl group is in the order of R is equal to alkyl, more than benzyl, more than cinnamoyl, and more than phenyl group. So wherever there is alkyl group, that is less substituted group, is always going to get rearranged faster and much better compared to the bulkier groups. Next, let us look at the reaction. In this rearrangement, the aryl esters are treated with Lewis acids to give ortho and para hydroxyketones. So here you can see this is the reaction, general reaction. So here you can just observe that the starting material, that is the aryl esters, on reaction with anhydrous aluminum chloride. So aluminum chloride is a Lewis acid. So we know that Lewis acids have a tendency to accept a pair of electrons, whereas Lewis base donates a pair of electrons. So there's a difference between Lewis acid and Lewis base. So that is because in the aluminum chloride, we do not have a complete octet of electrons. If you look at the, if you write down the electron dot structure for AlCl3, that's why it falls under the category of Lewis acid. That is, there's still place for 2 electrons for it to accept so that it can get stabilized. So here on reaction with the aluminum chloride, you can either get an ortho product or a para product. So there is nothing but ortho hydroxyketone or para hydroxyketone is obtained. The acyl group migrates mainly to the ortho position at elevated temperature, but at moderately low temperature, it enters mostly the para position. So here, based on the temperature, it is attaining either the ortho or the para positions. So here you can see at a higher temperature, that's 165, it attains ortho, whereas at lower temperature, that is room temperature, it attains the para position. This appears to be because the para derivative is formed faster, that is by kinetic control, whereas the ortho derivative is thermodynamically more stable by virtue of possessing the chelate system. Fry's rearrangement mechanism can be intramolecular or intermolecular. There are experimental facts which support both. There's some experiment done. For example, when esters 1 and 2 are heated in presence of anhydrous aluminum chloride, 4 different orthohydroxyketones are obtained, that is 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now you can observe 3 and 4 are examples for intramolecular reaction, because here you can see that the acyl group, that is the COCH3, has been rearranged and it has moved towards the ortho position. Similarly, the acyl group, that is COC6H5 group, again rearranges and forms in the same molecule, it is reaching the ortho position, that is it takes up the ortho position. So these are examples for the intramolecular, that is within the molecule there is rearrangement. But when you look at structure 5 and structure 6, you can see that there is the cross experiment which is taking place. That is nothing but it is an example for intermolecular reaction. That is, the product 5 and product 6 are examples for intermolecular reaction, because you can see that the COC6H5 of the structure from structure 2 has got rearranged in to give the product in 5. So you can see here how the benzoyl group here has got attached in the group product 5, and in 6 you can see how the acyl group has got attached in product 6. So hence there is the crossover experiment here taking place, which proves that there is for this there is the possibility of intermolecular reaction, and for product 3 and 4 there is the possibility of intramolecular reaction. Now let us look at the mechanism for intermolecular rearrangement. In the intermolecular rearrangement, that is in the mechanism, the aryl ester and Lewis acid form an adduct which dissociates into an acyl cation and an aryl oxy aluminum chloride anion. The former attacks the ortho and para positions of the anion. Thus, mechanism can be considered to be intermolecular electrophilic aromatic substitution reaction. So here you can see how there is first the starting material, that is nothing but the acyl group here, ester, which is formed here, and this on reaction with AlCl3 is going to give an adduct. See here, you can see the adduct, as I already told, since AlCl3 is deficient of electrons, what it is going to do is it is going to get attached to the oxygen. And here there are, since in the substrate there are two oxygen, so both the structures have been written here. That is, both the possibility of the AlCl3 attacking the oxygen has been written here. So one of it is when AlCl3 attacks the carbonyl oxygen of the carbonyl group. That is, this is one of the adduct formed. And the second kind of attack of the AlCl3 is at the ether group of this substrate. So here both the ways they have shown the possibility of how the AlCl3 can attack the oxygen. Now this is where an adduct is formed. So here you can see how there is since the oxygen has donated its electron pair to the Lewis acid, you can see how oxygen is forming a 3 bonds and hence a positive charge on oxygen atom. Now the next step would be, so here what happens is there's going to be a cleavage. That is, there's going to be departure of the acyl group to give rise to acyl cation, that is C double bond O plus acyl cation, and also the formation of the aryl oxy Lewis acid, that is AlCl3. So this is how these two are the fragments for this dissociation or this kind of cleavage of this intermediate. So now next step would be, now once there's an acyl cation, we know that cations have to be, the tendency of cation is that since there are less of electrons in them, what happens is they're going to look for a nucleophilic center. So here that nucleophilic center is nothing but the aryl group. So here you can see how there is a conjugation in the aryl group, and the double bond is going to get, or the acyl group, that is the carbonyl carbon, is going to attack the electrophile. It's going to attack the nucleophile, that is the aryl. So once it attacks the nucleophile, we are going to get a intermediate of this kind. So here you can see how the acyl group attacks the benzene ring, and how there is a formation of the intermediate product here. So this is nothing but this is an example for the intermolecular. Means there is the acyl group of another substrate, or the acyl group which is not present within the molecule is attacking the nucleophile. So hence there is an example for the intermolecular. Now once this is formed, you can see how the oxygen is having 3 bonds. 2 bonds with carbon and 1 bond with AlCl3 minus. So hence oxygen possesses a positive charge. Now how do we remove the positive charge? Is by the removal of a proton H plus from one of the carbon. So once the H plus is removed and Cl from AlCl3 is removed, that is nothing but elimination of HCl, we are going to obtain a group of this kind. A cyclic group of this kind is going to be obtained. So now here you can see how there are no positive charge or no negative charge, and this is a perfect stable structure here. And now at this position what happens is, we know that we have to hydrolyze, because this example or this rearrangement is wherein we get a hydroxyl group. A hydroxyl phenol is generated. So the next step would be nothing but the hydrolysis of this intermediate. So once the hydrolysis is done, we are going to get the hydroxy group. We're going to get the hydroxy group in the product. So this is how we are going to carry out the mechanism for the intermolecular reaction. Next, coming to the mechanism for intramolecular rearrangement. In this intramolecular mechanism, the phenyl ester apparently forms an adduct with AlCl3 in the first step as an intermolecular process. In this case, the acyl group migrates to the nearest ortho position without getting detached from the adduct. So here again, this formation, that is the adduct formation, is very much similar to intermolecular rearrangement. As we already saw in the previous slide, that the oxygen is since it has a lone pair on it, it is going to donate its electron pair for the to the AlCl3, because AlCl3 is Lewis acid which expects electrons. So once an adduct is formed of this kind, what happens? The next step would be rearrangement of the acyl group within the molecule. Hence it is called as the intramolecular. So now you can see how the acyl group is linked to the oxygen, but since there's going to be a rearrangement, that is acyl group from the position is going to, from this position, that is from the acyl group linked to the oxygen, is going to break. The bond between oxygen and acyl group is going to break, and it is going to form a bond at the ortho position of this kind. So that is nothing but, see, once the bond between oxygen and carbonyl group is detached, oxygen is going to get a negative sign because it is more electronegative. It is going to pull the electrons towards itself. Now the remaining is the acyl group, which is going to get a positive charge. Now how do we, now this is nothing but an example for electrophilic substitution reaction, wherein an electrophile attacks the electron rich center, and here electron rich center is nothing but the aryl group. So here what happens is the acyl group attacks the ring, that is the double bond of the benzene ring, and we are going to get an intermediate of this kind wherein the acyl group is linked to the ortho position. Now this is how we are going to get the intermediate. Now the next step would be the nothing but the removal of hydrogen chloride. The hydrogen chloride is removed from the adjacent carbon of the carbonyl group, and also the one of the chlorine from the AlCl3 to liberate minus HCl. That is, HCl is going to get eliminated, and we are going to get an intermediate of with a structure of this kind. So now here you can see how there is a possibility of the product just by the hydrolysis. So the last step would be hydrolysis, which is going to give rise to the product. So here you can see how there is the ortho product which is being generated. Fries rearrangement also takes place under UV light. This rearrangement is known as photo-Fries rearrangement. This mechanism takes place via radical intermediate. Homolytic bond cleavage generates a radical pair. The radical pair is present in tight solvent cage. The product is formed by rapid recombination of the radicals before diffusion from the solvent cage. So here we know whenever there is photolytical reaction, we know it is always going to give rise to a homolytic cleavage. So here the first step would be in presence of the photon, there's going to be homolytic cleavage between the oxygen and the carbonyl carbon to give two free radicals here. Now this reaction is going to be present in a solvent cage, and the product is going to be generated within the solvent cage. It is not going to come out of the solvent cage, but within the solvent cage the hydroxyl group, that is the product, is going to be generated. So that is the meaning of this. So this is the third kind of rearrangement. It is the Fries rearrangement. That's it for today's students. Thank you very much.